Anyway, so today I had the great pleasure of playing a really nice course called the Mission Club, which is a semi-private course just north of Lompoc, California, just to the east of Vandenberg Space Force Base by about, I don't know, maybe a mile or two. The Space Force Base is a sprawling region, basically a mountainous sort of Mojave Desert or Edwards Air Force Base, which basically encompasses a corner of the peninsula that juts out from Highway 101 going north through Los Alamos and Lompoc and so forth. So it's a large place, basically a lot of reserved land. And so this course is, I think it's 5,900 yards total from the back tees. I don't know exactly what slope it officially is, but I'm sure I'll find out and put it in the notes somewhere along with the scorecard. But it is just under 6,000 yards, and I'm the first time I saw it, I was like, well, 6,000, I don't really want to bother with it. But I'm glad I did, and in a sense, it was one of the few courses I hadn't played in the area. I looked at it once, and I thought it was private, or like, because on their website they have this mixture of terminology where sometimes they say exclusive, and sometimes they say inclusive, and so forth. And I think the club itself is exclusive, but the golf course is inclusive. So you can, walk in, get a tee time, or go online and reserve a tee time or whatever. But let me tell you this, I think this is one of the first courses that I've played where I feel like it deserves bonus points to become an A course. This course is a sort of a throwback to a 50s course that you've probably played maybe, at some point in your life, which is not long, not really tricked up or difficult or anything like that. It's just a good solid course. Good mixtures of, par 4s, 5s, and 3s. The longest par 3 on it from the back tees is about 220 yards, I would say, although it says on the map at the tee box it's only 165 yards, which I find very hard to believe. And the longest par 5 is about 525 yards. But the way the course is put together, again, I said, this is a course that deserves an A rating of some sort, like an A minus at the very least. One of the few courses I've given an A rating out of hundreds of courses that I played. It really is a well done course. It's not so much that it is a outstanding course. I'm sure that there are, Florida courses or country clubs that are better, in some ways. But the key thing is, it makes the most of what it has. And what it has for almost every hole is a good degree of verticality, good tree cover, good fairway grass, good greens that are decently fast with decent action, more action than usual. On a lot of courses, you won't see this much action. They do make it a good challenge to putt them, but they're not super difficult. I've played a few courses with greens that were harder than this, certainly. This was not hard to putt, but it wasn't like you could walk on and drain 20 footers or something. Not the best greens, but decently greens, decent speed, rather on the long side, but still good putting, good challenging greens. And the fairways, likewise, not super wide. It's a short course, so that means that while the holes are going to be shorter, they can also make the fairways less wide, which is good. There's a fair amount of houses on or near the course, but I think there's only really one or two houses where holes where the houses are obnoxious. And I have to admit, probably, I'd say 16 and 14 were probably a little bit too much house coverage going on. Way too many windows, let's put it that way, too close to the course. And I found it to be a bit more So anyway, basically, except for a couple of holes, which really, the course was thrust upon the houses, or the houses were thrust upon the course. I'm not sure which. It really was a nice course all the way around. It's a nice looking course, well maintained. Nothing too extravagant as a hole. There were a couple of holes, I would say, that were definitely a challenge from the black tees. Certainly, I think it's like one of the holes on the backside, like 14, which goes into a set of houses that ring the green. But there's also a lake on the left side, and a lake on a waste with water in it on the right side. That's a good challenging tee shot from the back tees, and certainly I think a lot of the course is a good course. Let's put it that way. It's a good course. I wouldn't say it's the toughest course that I've played, or the longest course, certainly not the longest or toughest course. It's also not an overly difficult course where you can't, judge where the ball's going to land because it's a blind spot here and there on every other hole and so forth. You can't tell where the waste is, and you have to read the course map. But it's a very straightforward course. They have a nice little map for each hole next to the tee boxes, and instead of just showing you the yardage, it shows you the hole and so forth. Very well done in that regard. And also the other thing, they don't have tees that are there but not allowed to use. So you're not like paying to play a 7,200 yard course and you find out that you can't play 300 yards of it because the tees aren't even open. So it also has a nice clubhouse, nice dining bar / dining area. It's more like a restaurant area. The club there, obviously, there's a swimming pool in there, pickleball courts and so forth, and it's a really nice place. I mean, it's not phenomenal, but it's modest and it's nice at the same time. The course is well done. Nice white sand in all the bunkers. No bad parts of the course except one part next to the lake where the lake actually rises up over the fairway, and it looks like it flooded out the fairway floods out every now and then, and that part is rather wet on the sides next to the car path. But a good solid course. The way that golf courses used to be done back in the day before they became these giant monstrosities, 7,000 to 7,500 yard courses. They ran way off in the middle of the woods somewhere, and then came back, and then the front half was populated by a bunch of houses, and back half was basically, just wilderness. This course is not like that at all. It is a very nice course. So what I would say that it deserves an A is, it's not like it's better than other courses, but it's definitely well done. It is certainly better than some courses that are not well done, but it's not as good as some courses that are not just well done, they're just also fantastic courses. But it's not that different in terms of difficulty from a hard course. I mean, you still have to go out there and hit your shots. Just because a hole is shorter than 475 yards or 620 yard par 5, just because it's shorter than that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And this course definitely is not a pushover. So, for being well done and for being a good course, good solid course, I would give it an A-. It is just one of those places, if I lived in this neighborhood, I would play it often. I say that about a fair number of courses, but I usually don't say that about every neighborhood course that I play. I definitely would say it about this one. And the other thing is, I know that I played it during the week, and I chose to play it during the week because I didn't want to play it with a bunch of geriatrics running around the course or whatever. I didn't want to play. I try to avoid playing a course when it's busy, because the few times that I've been caught on a course when it was busy, I've regretted it. I can tolerate slow play to a point, but when it's 10 guys standing around watching somebody else tee, and it's a half an hour to play a hole, to tee off a hole, because of that, that's nothing I really want to deal with. So the one side benefit of playing obviously during the week is it's not just that it's not slow. There's nobody or pretty much nobody else playing the course, and that wasn't the case in this round. I would say there was a twosome, sometimes a foursome, every 3 holes. I got there at 2 o'clock and played, finished by 5:30, and just had a great time playing it. And I really think that one of the sad things, if you don't mind using that overused word sad, which has now been burned into the American lexicon by a certain non-politician, I think the thing that is, I won't say detrimental, I will say, well, yeah, detrimental to the golf experience, let's say, is not being able to play golf during the week. Okay? I think you're really missing out on a great experience on any golf course by playing it when it's not busy. There. So on this course, especially because it's not out in the middle of nowhere, it's just north of Lompoc, and there are courses close to Santa Maria. There are closest courses that are closer, to the east and so forth for, like La Purcine and so forth. But if you're living in the Lompoc or working in the Lompoc area, this course is a very convenient course to play, which I think it doesn't get the publicity that it probably should get because it's part of a country club. This is not the only course that I've seen this happen with. I've played a few other country clubs that were semi-private. And I think it's a good use of their facilities because obviously they're not going to have a lot of people playing during the week. They can certainly use the business. And also it's a good thing for golfers to be able to get out and play during the week when they get a chance to, without having to suffer through every time they play golf to play on a Saturday or Sunday or Friday afternoon even. So definitely one of the key things about this is investigate your local country clubs to see if they're semi-private. Don't assume that you can't get on them, okay? The other thing is to remember to keep an open mind about a golf course. It doesn't necessarily have to be long to be a good course, and just because it is short doesn't mean it's a bad course, okay? Play the course that you have, enjoy the round, judge the course for what the course actually is, not for what you assume it is or presume it is based upon the numbers, whether it's, the slope being 125, 135, 145, and that's really more of a tee thing than a course thing, or the yardage, likewise, being 4,500 yards, 5,500 yards, or 6,500 yards, or 7,500 yards. So this was a pleasant surprise. I think the big thing is I can think of 3 reasons why I didn't really have an eagerness to play it, but in the long run, I did play it, and it was a very pleasant surprise. So I'll give it an A- just to close that issue down. I didn't really shoot video during this round because I didn't want to jump back into another video right after I did the last one, which was not trouble-free, not actually super easy to do, and because I had various technical issues, I had to make some compromises in shooting video or making the video out of small snippets of video, individual snippets of video. And I did end up putting pictures in the thing anyway. So this time I said, well, okay, let's just go back to the old method and do it that way, and hopefully we can sit down and knock out the audio, which I'm doing right now. And I think this course is really hard to explain how good it is if you're not playing it. And I know that a lot of people that, even my small audience, won't play this course. Some will, but if you're passing through the area, going up along the coast between Los Angeles and Sacramento, or Carmel, where our $700 course, Pebble Beach is, and the 5 courses up there to cost you a minimum of like $200 to play them. And going north from there going east to Bakersfield. Just don't think that there aren't any decent courses on the way up. There are a lot of good courses. I won't say 40, but there definitely, I can think of at least 15 of them that are pretty decent courses. So the Mission Club is one of them. I'd give it an A-. It was $100 to play the course on Monday after 2 o'clock. The afternoon tee times, I think, start at 4 o'clock, and then it drops down to like $85. I think if you go online during the week, it's $108 on the weekend and $90 during the week before 2 o'clock. When I came in here right at 2 o'clock, 4 to 4 o'clock, which is twilight, I guess, and so forth. So it's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either, and definitely worth the time and trouble to play it. That's the Mission Club in Lompoc, California. Nice little short, I should say. Nice, relatively short, but still fun to play, still challenging to play, and just a good all over the town. A-.